This is TWiT.
Hey, buddy, are you a geek? Are you a tech enthusiast? Then I would love to invite you to join a tech community like no other. You can gain exclusive access to our incomparable quality tech content for just $7 a month with Club TWiT. As a member, you'll enjoy all TWiT TV shows ad-free, plus access private video feeds for insider shows like iOS Today, Home Theater Geeks, and so much more. Dive into the members-only TWiT Plus bonus feed for behind-the-scenes content, club discussions, and special events. But here's the best perk. Join our incredible Discord community to watch live show productions, chat with hosts, and participate in exclusive members-only activities. It's your backstage pass to the world of TWiT. Whether you're a tech enthusiast or a lifelong learner, Club TWiT elevates your knowledge while entertaining your interests. Get 2 weeks free when you sign up now for $7 a month and unlock unparalleled access at twit.tv/clubtwit. That's twit.tv/clubtwit. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you and welcome to the club.
Good evening, crafters. Welcome to Mikah's Crafting Corner. Let me know if you're in the Discord and you're able to hear me, because it's always the Discord that's giving us a problem. So, hello, Bookend Kitties on Twitch. Good evening to you. I see Burke is typing. Oh, good, you can hear me. Well, welcome back to Mikah's Crafting Corner. I am going to make a small adjustment with the camera. Just a, well, we're getting a little closer. There we go. I like that better. So, as you know, this is our time for a cozy hang. Time for us to gather together, talk about the crafts we're working on, show off the crafts we're working on if we want to, watch the craft I'm working on, whatever you want to do. You'll notice things are a little lighter here, a little quieter. That's part of the vibe. And today we are continuing the work on Jason's kitchen. This is a miniature from, I always forget the name, Robotime. You can get these on Amazon. Robotime makes them. There are a few other companies. Rolife makes them. But we are currently building our way through Jason's kitchen. And last we left off, we had made a bucket and a small jar. And now it's time for us to work on the kettle. Oh, you notice a little water ring there. But we are working on the kettle. It's a blue kettle, which is really pretty. And then we'll have a second kettle that we'll get to. And maybe we'll even get to the paper bag and the paper box if we get lucky. So let's see what we're doing today. And as always, I encourage you to share the crafts you're working on, the stuff you're doing. I'll switch to the mixed craft cam mode here. So with kettle 1, which is not to be confused with the vodka, we are looking for some blue pieces. We're looking for K52, K50, K53, and K51. So this appears to be entirely a paper craft creation. So I need to look at my different paper craft stuff that I have here. Oh, we occasionally get some folks who pop in who have no idea what's going on and why we're crafting after hours. But thank you for your comment, Jen. This is just an after-hours show that we provide to the folks, quite a few folks indeed, who enjoy gathering together for some crafts. This isn't your typical daily programming. It's a little extra, just like your comment. All right, so let's see. We're looking for K52, K53, K51. Oh, I've got K54. That one's pretty cool. But that's not the one we need. So let's see here. That's K22. So I've got a bag that's got all of these things labeled. And I think I talked before when people were asking last time, do I recommend doing things the way that I did them for this set, which is to cut them out ahead of time? I thought that made sense at first, but on second thought and re-examination, no. I would not go through and pre-cut everything. And the reason why is because everything is beautifully kind of arranged and easier to find than if you have it all in piles and you're more just looking for colors, as I am here. So let me see. I got K50, which is this one. And here's K51. Now we're looking for K52 and K53, which look like they should be easier to find because they are shaped a little differently from the rest of these. So I'm getting some of these out of the way. Okay, I can do that. I can speak up. Is it that the audio sounds like it is like the music's drowning me out a little bit? Because I can also turn that down a hair. Oh, well, that's interesting. There is music in the background. I am not using my show voice, as that is part of it, but I'll speak a little bit louder. All right, we found K52. Yay! And then we're looking for K53. It's always about trying to find the cozy vibes in between, right? Where normally there's a lot more dynamics in the voice. You tune in tomorrow to Tech News Weekly and you will experience that for yourself. Let's see. Yeah, my inside voice. I'm glad to hear that, Bookend Kitties. Thank you. Okay, we're almost there. We're going to find that piece, I promise you. That piece seems to have a little cutout. See, I could have done all of this before the show, but I think this is part of it, right? I used to watch those cooking shows, and I'd get upset when we'd go to a commercial break and then we'd come back and they'd lift the thing from underneath the table and say, oh, here's the next steps. And look, it makes sense. That's how you would do it. But at the time, I wasn't quite putting two and two together. And also, I just thought, well, that's cheating. That's not the real process. That's not the full process, right? Uh-oh, I'm getting nervous. I'm not seeing K53 anywhere. Might be stuck to something. Exactly. And also, if you're doing stuff that's made, it might not, like it has had chance. I think that the greatest trick that the devil did play was not making it clear that you really need to let your cakes cool. I used to do cake decorating, like make sculpture cakes and stuff like that. And a mistake I see from, just your average baker, which is understandable, is not letting the cake cool completely and or actually cooling the cake in the refrigerator in order to facilitate the application of decorations. Wow, facilitate the application of decorations. That's one way of saying it. Decorate the cake. And so they go to put stuff on there, and even if they let it cool a little bit, it's still not a very solid and sort of good-looking outcome. All right, I'm going to move these to the side here. Because we've got all of our pieces. And what we're going to do is take a look at the next set of instructions. So you'll see that with some of these pieces, we're actually folding them. K52 is going to be folded in half and then glued. K53 also folded in half and then glued. K51 is folded in half and then folded in half long lengthwise and then kind of shaped to provide a handle. And then K50 is just folded in half. So I'm actually going to need to do some cutting on K53 because it currently has the space in between, but that of course will go away. Let me double check. I gotta look close. Yeah, I think it needs to go away. It's hard to tell. I'm going to fold it in half first. So with things like this, I like to, if I can, get some sort of straight edge and use that to help inform how we're folding. So then I can fold along that edge, like so. We get a nice clean fold. So let's do some questions. Why not? It's coming up on the middle of February. Well, I guess getting toward the end of February. So I'm kind of curious what people's weather has been like. Do you live in places where there's snow right now, or there has been snow? Do you live in places where snow is a no-go? Portland, it is not a given, and in fact is often not the case that it snows. But it did snow this year, and it actually not just snowed, but the snow stuck for about a day. So that was very exciting because my Missouri-born dogs had not seen snow in a long, long time, since 2018 maybe. So one of them was excited about it. Paul says, snow, so much snow and cold and more cold. 10-foot snowbank at the foot of the driveway. Wow. So I'm assuming at the foot of the driveway, does that mean you pushed your snow out, and then the snow from the street cleaners has also pushed it in? Or is it just the snow from the street cleaners, the snow trucks? And then we're going to fold K51 in half. My neighbor's driveway is very close on the one side, so I push all snow to the other side, and I have low voltage lights along the majority of the driveway, so I push it all to the foot to have room to dispose of it. That makes sense. And now we can fold this one in half as well. Again, using, whoops, sorry, it's right on a frame, a straight edge to help us kind of fold it precisely. this is going to become the handle on the jug. And now we have it kind of creased. So we can shape this, but before we shape it, I'm actually going to apply some glue along the inside. And forgive me if my voice sounds a little raspy. I'm still getting over being ill. Seems like everybody has been getting sick lately. The delightful Amanda Silberling from last week's Tech News Weekly was ill as well. Yeah, I'm actually, for some reason, it's very warm in this room right now. It isn't usually, like during the day it's not. But right now it's a little warm in this room, so that's why my nose is looking pinkish. And I probably look very, very shiny because I'm actually sweating a little bit. TMI? I don't know. But yeah, it's warm in here. And it's not really the lights. The lights don't make it too warm. But usually during the day, I've got to keep it nice and warm. I did just eat. And eating always makes my internal temperature go up. But I had, despite getting the flu shot, I had full-on flu. And it was not fun. I've not had flu in a long time, if ever, to be honest with you. Because the only other time I felt that crummy is when I had COVID the one time. I can't imagine how much worse it would have been if I was not vaccinated. Because I know I was miserable. Hi, Sean Keller. All right, there we go. That's glued down. We also need to glue the cone. We've got a little line. Well, that's pretty quick focus there. You may be able to see just a little bit that it's a dashed dotted line. And so if it's got a dash and a dot, that means it's a reference line. Oh, well, good night. Thanks so much for tuning in, Chocolate Milk Mini Sip, and good luck with the everything that you're doing with the poll work and the elections. That is awesome that is something that you do, keeping that part of your civic duty going above and beyond, as it were. All right, so I'm going to apply some glue to this, and then we'll fold it over and tack it down. I want a nice amount of glue, but I don't want it to be sticking up too much. So covering the whole thing. So area, but not volume, right? Because that will mean that it will more likely stick and not slide and spread, which is what we don't want. Now I'm trying to roll this back on itself. For those of you just tuning in, this is Mikah's Crafting Corner, an after-hours show we have here on the TWiT network. This show is made possible by our delightful, wonderful, and amazing Club TWiT members who become members by paying $7 a month. When you are a member of Club TWiT, you get some pretty cool benefits, but I'm not going to go into those because this is a show for the Club TWiT members, and I just wanted to give a shout out to all of you for your support. Thank you. Now, we've got it tacked down, but you'll notice something I'm not super happy with, which is a little bit of the paper. Come on. Kind of sticking out of the top of the cone there. So typically what I'll do in this situation is after it's dried, I'll go back through and cut that to kind of even it out. I can be a bit of a perfectionist, on the road to perfectionist with these things, and so it often takes me a little bit longer than it normally would because I'm busy trying to make it look as good as it can and kind of roll back some of the changes, or not roll back some of the changes, but go back and fix things that I want. So now that we've folded this in half, I think I can cut this. I'm still nervous because it's showing I don't know. Maybe I'll try to fasten it first, and then we can see if it needs to be cut, because it might be that we're trying to use that white part for a surface on which to apply some glue, and that's why it's there. So I'm going to keep it for now, but we'll go ahead and apply glue to the portion here on the edge. That's true, Burke. It's not unique to want to be, or it's not a specific kind of perfectionism or whatever, because, yeah, you want to do that. I'm going to take off my jacket because, as I mentioned before, it is warm in here. All right. Let me apply some glue to this spot. What I'd like to do when the weather gets a little warmer is make some natural minis. So essentially going out into nature and finding little acorns and sticks and foliage and creating little chairs and things like that. And creating like a natural scene. Some places they call those fairy houses. Wow, that was almost perfect. I'm very happy with that. I'm using the needle nose pliers to kind of hold it in place while the tacky glue gets a little more tacky. And then we can place that spot or that piece down. Yeah, I don't see why we can't keep that white part on there. I think it will be good to provide some surface. I don't know if folks here. That's a good point. Bookend Kitties says, don't forget to bake those outside sourced materials first, or you may get little unwanted guests hatching. Very good point. Thank you for that warning. Yes, little eggies. If any of you have Apple TV subscription, you may check out The Gorge is a new show. And it's kind of silly, but it's fun, and it's sort of it's a sci-fi a sci-fi mystery romance thriller with a dash of comedy. It's quite a few different movies all worked into one. Movie types worked into one. And my significant other and I found it delightful and worth the watch. It's not groundbreaking. It's not anything like that, but it was a fun watch. Now the last piece. I really like to cover every part of the surface here because the glue is actually going to help to reinforce those tiny, tiny, tiny tabs that are on the outside, because those tabs are used to fasten, the circle on the inside of the kettle. Now that we have completed all of those pieces, we'll push that off to the side to let those items dry. And we'll move on to our next part. Ginger kombucha. So kettle 2 is mostly beads, which I prefer to work with the little items rather than the paper. So we've got a bunch of fun beads to work with here. But that means I've got to go find them. So we've got our main red bead. Sort of orange. And then we need golden small bead. And when they say small, they mean it. These little beads are tiny. Let me see. Where are my tweezers? Actually, it might be better to use. That is the bead we're working with. It's so small. To be frank though, that one's a little wonky. It's kind of long. So I'm going to grab a different one. Just in case, because sometimes you think, oh, that's just a manufacturing defect. And then you come to find out, no, that one was the special one that they'll call like small. Instead of golden small bead, it'll be golden oblong bead or something. So you want to be careful. And then if the last thing you make has to have a wonky bead, that's fine. But it could be that that bead's very important. Then what they call the air hole, which is just one side of a grommet. Oh, that's in bag number 4, not bag number 5. And we're looking for the one that is 3.5 millimeters, which is 0.35 centimeters. One, two, 3.5. Yeah, I would say that's 0.35 centimeters. And then coarse copper metallic wire. Light copper metallic wire. What in heaven's name? All right. This is very odd. I'll look for bag 3. And see, this is again where I say it's much better to go along with the process instead of doing it afterward. Because, folks, I thought I was being clever. This is bag 3, and it doesn't have the coarse copper metallic wire in it because I was pre-organizing things. And, by the way, I did that like years ago. I've had this for a very long time. So now I get to go spelunking for... Dustin says, we're a bit late to tune in, but my wife's currently removing the collar of a shirt. That's craftish, craft adjacent. Heck yeah, that's craft adjacent. I think it's crafting. It's you working with fabrics. That's crafting as far as I'm concerned. All right, I think we're going to go with this as the coarse metallic wire. And then we need the 5 millimeter diameter golden bead, which is also in bag 5. It's a much bigger bead. Wait. Come on, almost there. You know you want to show us. There we go. Oops. The bead that they're showing in the photograph has a hole on the top and the bottom. And the bead that is in my hand does not. So we have to look and make sure that this is not a situation where I'm not finding it, and that it is instead a manufacturing defect, and it appears to be. It appears to bead. Okay, so we've got those. Forgive me. And now we need to cut our wire. So the wire that's going to go around the outside is... Where did I put that wire? There it is. So, we need 29 millimeters of this wire, which, as we know, is 2.9 centimeters. So we'll do our classic we make a mark at 2.9. And then we use our wire cutters and we kind of run along the wire until we find that little divot. Now we've got 2.9 there. And then go back to my larger wire. This is going to be a very small piece of this larger wire. $13 millimeters. That looks like more than 13. Anyway. The photograph makes it seem like it's more. Did you get the snow you were hoping for last time, Mikah? Wait a week or so. Yes, Dustin, we did get snow, and it was very exciting. It stuck even for a day, and it was wet enough that it could be. Yeah, I know. That's why I don't. Confusing. See how small it looks there? Sorry, just a moment here. So, yep. What we'll do is it shows that each of the sides need to be bent at 10 millimeters. So, we will measure that here. It's very easy to do, 10 millimeters. This time I'm not going to make as big of a dent. I'm not applying as much pressure because I only want to visually see where I'm trying to bend and make it a little bit easier to bend along those areas without causing the piece to break, essentially, at those bends. So now we can take this bend it down, and find this and bend it down. And then we can even it out like so. A week or so of snow on the ground. I'm jealous of that for sure, Dustin. That sounds so lovely. But it doesn't snow a whole lot in Portland. And the first year we're here for winter, it snows. And I should say it doesn't stick a lot in Portland. In the first winter we're here, it snows and sticks. So I think that's saying something. Then it says we need to kind of pinch the wire at the end to sort of flatten it out at 2 millimeters or 0.2 centimeters. I'm going to do this by eye. Ooh. And what we're doing here is making it so that the edge of the handle can kind of fit along the side of the bead. Another show that's worth watching is The Pit. I think that's what it's called. It's the show on HBO Max that's about emergency room, and it seems like very realistic in comparison to some of the other more drama, romance deals that you get with a lot of those medical shows. But I'm not a medical professional, so I can't say for sure. And then it wants us to basically paste the beads on top of the beads, which is easy. I shouldn't say that. That's really jinxing it. So the first thing we'll do is apply glue to what they call the air gap, what I call one part of a grommet. I guess that's why they call it the air gap. It's a little bit easier. Apply glue to one part of a grommet. I bet there are names. I wonder if there are names. Does anyone know if grommet pieces have names? The part that, maybe it's like the classic male grommet, female grommet. Oh dear. This always happens. I think I'm going to put some glue down in there just to really hold it in place. There we go. And then we will take our gold bead, got plenty of glue on that. Sorry, let me zoom back out a little bit. And then, oh, darn it. There we go. Oh, phooey. I knew I should have just used my finger. You said that your wife was taking a collar off of a shirt. Is it just going to become a collarless shirt, or is it being taken off so that it can be cleaned? Is it changing the collar to do a contrast collar? I'm trying to think of all the other reasons why one would take a collar off of a shirt. Those are the ones I can think of. The collar is like yellowed, and so you want to kind of treat it independently. You're changing out a button-down collar for a non-button-down collar. I don't know. Why is the collar coming off of the shirt? Listeners, we're about to find out. All right. Now, they want us to place the handle onto the kettle. shortening and flattening it. Okay. So the collar, I wonder, shortening it height-wise? Is it a custom shirt? I have so many questions. I am very curious. You remove it, shorten it, and then put it back on, and you have a nice fresh collar. Oh, I see. So if, let's say, okay, I think I get it. Collars maybe used to be, or are occasionally, a little bit, there's a lot of fabric there. And if they're not great, then you can take them off, use fabric that is already there, that is clean, and you get rid of the fabric that's bad and just leave the clean, good fabric behind, and the collar is shorter, but you've gotten rid of the part that's gross or, torn or yellowed or whatever it happens to be. Is that? Oh, and it got stretched out. Cool. So is this hand done, or are we working with a sewing machine? Yeah, this might, I don't want to use the super glue for this because I was just trying to remove some of the glue off of the side of this and immediately started chipping away at the red, which tells me that this is not red plastic all the way through, but instead has a red coating, which means that super glue will result in that red coming off. But that means having to hold the handle up until the glue decides to get tacky enough. So I'm going to read what Dustin is writing to me while I continue to hold this handle in place. It's not a custom shirt, but I am wearing a custom shirt she made for me. Taking it apart is by hand, but then reattaching it is with a machine. That's cool. She makes custom shirts. I've been thinking about taking a sewing class here in Portland. The most I've done is fix some curtains, and I did some pieces for a costume. But what I'd really like to do is like fix pants and stuff, and that hem pants and change them, go thrifting and like change the way that the clothes look, and that is beyond me for sure. At the moment, I mean. Yeah, this is a nightmare piece right now. I might have to get the super glue and then just get the acrylic paints out afterward. That's what I did in my last model build. Yeah, we're probably gonna have to do that. I could build some supports around it, like clay, and then pull the clay off afterward. But for now, we're going to set that to the side. We'll have to come back to that one. Then what it wants us to do is essentially take the little piece of wire that we have and take the black coating off of the outside of it and then turn it into a spout. You say, she's made a bunch of clothes for me, and I'm always amazed how a pile of fabric can become clothes like...
Can you say that again?
I wasn't talking to you, ALEXA.
Sorry, I thought I heard my name.
No, you didn't. Anyway, rude. I'm always amazed how a pile of fabric can become clothes like magic. I know, that's honestly any kind of crafting stuff. I just, whether I'm doing it myself or someone else is doing it, I'm always just... I just love it. I just think it's so cool how things can become other things. Yeah, so with these, they really do expect you to take off the metallic brown coating. But you know, I kind of like it because it matches the handle. So I don't know. I think maybe I won't do that. I'm really disappointed that this glue is not tacking up. It must be kind of moist in here. Maybe that's why I'm so warm. Yeah, that is not sticking. Okay, we're going to come back to that with some super glue. And then last, but never least, I think we have enough time to get this paper bag, which is K42 and K57. Now, importantly, there are actually several of these paper bags. And so there's K42 and K57, which we'll be working on. There's K64 and K39. There's K40 and K62. So you get the idea. There are multiple. So here's K40. I have half a mind to use that, but I don't want to confuse myself later, so I guess I won't. There's K42. Set hike. And we'll be applying K57 onto it, which just says fruit. There it is. All right. So these ones are pretty easy. These are pretty easy. I don't have to say ones. These are pretty easy. We simply fold along all the different lines and we go from there. I'm once again using the ruler to make these creases. Like so. We're very close. Oh, like so is pretty close to a certain virtual assistant's name. I had a little panic mode there for a second. Thought, oh boy, it's going to start talking again. Yeah, they really are, Dustin. Dustin says, all the steps are so fiddly tonight. Whoops. And then I go and do that. All right. So what we'll do with this bag is we fold it in and we put the smaller rectangle on the inside. Good question. Sin76, that's SYNN, asks, hey, cool stream, what camera do you use for your craft cam? It is an Insta360. I'm trying to remember what model it is. Let me see here. No, that's not the one. It is well, I can't tell you because now there's a stinking update. So, but it's here. I know what I can do. Oh, look. I don't think it's just Insta360. I think it has a longer name than that. It is the Insta360 Link. So it's actually a PTZ camera that I almost always just keep in this downward thing. I've got a pole over here on one side of my desk, a pole over on the other side of my desk, and then a bar that runs across the top. And the Insta360 is clamped to that. And then the lens is, or the camera is facing down. So this is just cropped. This isn't actually zoom. Because it's a 4K camera. And so that works pretty well, even just as a crop. It does have, I think it's just all digital zoom. I don't think it has any other, but it has, depending on if you like, you can make it a more main camera and then have it switch into different modes, and it's got special desk modes and all sorts of stuff. I don't really use it for any of that. It's got some AI, like gestural tracking stuff as well. But really it's just a nice, again, 4K camera to have as an overhead shot. Because of it, then you can crop it in as I'm doing here. Oh, did it switch? Yep. So that is because I opened up the app. Thank you. When I opened up the app for people who are listening, it caused the craft cam to turn upside down. That's what I get for messing around. That's not an easy fix, unfortunately, so I can't really address that at the moment. But we're about 3 minutes from saying goodbye, actually, so I won't address that this time, but it'll be back to normal next time after we install some updates on it as well. It's funny, like it works the whole time, and then you just you look at it wrong, and then it goes, actually, I have problems with the way things are set up. Now, the cool thing about these bags is they have on the external, on the short sides, they have a triangular flap. And then on the longer sides, they have a rectangular flap. So because of that triangular flap, it immediately makes it easier to fold in the sides of the bag like it's a real paper bag, like a larger paper bag, and keep that part at the bottom kind of wedged out. And so what you do is, after you've placed the label on the front, you roll it over, and then it will look like a little bag. So I'm going to put the fruit label on there. might just cut out the backup because I don't really feel like looking around for the actual one. Wait, that could be it. Come on. Why won't it stick to my finger? Nope, that says orange. Again, this is where I encourage you, again, to not do what I did, which is pre-cut everything out. I learned that in my custom build, and I learned that in my... I can see it playing out now, as you all are seeing. It makes more sense to leave it all where it goes, and then it's easy to find. So in this case, we are going to just cut out this label. Oh, of course it's slightly out of frame. There we go. Now we can apply that onto the bag. And then the final step is to take the bag and roll it forward a couple of times. And I like to do this by hand as opposed to using tweezers because it makes it feel, or makes it look a little bit more uneven. And I want that when it comes to, because look at this little, it's kind of hard to see because of the highlights, but there's a little crease in the top of the bag, and you wouldn't get that if you were using tweezers to roll it. It would be a little bit too perfect, but because my nail kind of got in there a little bit, it added some more texture, and I think it looks more natural and realistic that way. There you go. Now you can kind of see it. The shadows are better. And then you've got your little bag of fruit. And these things on their own, don't look, they're, it's kind of, it doesn't seem like it would add much. But when you have many of these and you start to place them and layer them in, it really starts to add to the realism. It's really cool. Folks, that is, I'm sad to say, going to bring us to the end of tonight's crafting corner, Mikah's crafting corner. That's me. I do like a corner, don't I? When I'm on Windows Weekly, I call it Xbox Corner, I noticed. And then Rosemary and I have Shortcuts Corner. Got a lot of corners. I'm more than a square. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here this evening. This has been one of the quieter evenings. It's nice hanging out with just a few of you. And I will be back next month with another crafting corner as we continue to build Jason's kitchen piece by piece. I think I will probably do some of the paper bags off camera, just so we can kind of do, as I mentioned before, unit by unit by unit. But eventually we'll make it to the end of this, and then we'll have a new craft to work on. So thanks everybody. Have a good night, and I'll catch you on, my other shows. Tech News Weekly, iOS Today, Hands on Mac, Hands on Tech. Bye-bye, and thanks for tuning in. Have a lovely evening.